used to not work round then clocks, hungry like wolves, and through the rands, then bite the hand.
Representation matters, especially in a city as diverse as Toronto. That is why Toronto History Museums is launching a virtual series of art projects by Black, Indigenous, and artists of color to explore untold stories in the city's history. Awakenings was developed to confront and eliminate racism, as well as bridge the gap between programming and representation. For more on this now, we're joined by Ashley McKenzie-Barnes, curator of the Awakenings program with Toronto History Museums. Good morning.
Morning.
Okay, I'm so excited to talk about this because, you know, you look back at Toronto's history, very much like history around the world, and it's often portrayed through a certain lens. So what has it been like for you to curate all of the work out there and to meet these artists and share their story?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm just going to correct. So I sit on the task force. I'm a curator and I'm an independent curator, but I also sit on the task force of this amazing project, which is actually spearheaded by Umbreen Iniat and Cheryl Blackman, who work for the city of Toronto and head up museums. And for me, I play a significant part in telling the story of anti-colonialism, anti-racism, social justice, advocacy, storytelling, but also getting the message forward. So this task force is comprised of people like myself and Wayne and Director X and a few others, spearheaded by Cheryl and Umbreen, to help bring forward this message, to help the programming philosophy kind of come to light and really reinvigorate what Toronto Historical Museums is doing and how they're utilizing artists and their expertise to create very accessible content.
Well, so much of art is about conversation and also about discussion. And so what are you hoping that people will take away as they consume the work that is going to be being put out and, you know, kind of learning about different artists and their different backgrounds?
Yeah, I mean, it's twofold because Toronto, like I said earlier, the Toronto History Museums is itself 10 spaces that are being re-energized through this program. And I think there's a lot there to be discovered in terms of historical content and placemaking in these historical spaces. But then there's also the ideas of the Awakening programs, like the need to reassess the way in which we develop and deliver programming in these spaces. The storytelling that's coming out of BIPOC voices, Black and Indigenous voices, people of color, storytellers of color, and what authentic stories we can bring to this space. We're strengthening these spaces by bringing these stories from storytellers that you don't usually have a chance to maybe hear from in the contemporary art space. I think the hope is that you also walk away with education of these spaces. You know they exist, you reconnect with them, you get excited to go outside of the GTA, or maybe not the GTA, but outside of the downtown centric area. You get excited to go to Fort York and learn about its lineage. You get excited to go to Don Mills, and then you take some time to really sit and talk and understand the stories that are being told and how they're connecting with that space, but also from whom they're being shared by.
Mm-hmm. And where and when can Torontonians and just people in general kind of embrace and see the untold stories that you're mentioning?
Yeah, so Awakenings, you can go on the site right now, and the site, I don't know if you guys already put it up, but it's toronto.ca/museums. You'll see that there's already content that's been launched. There was a beautiful launch that was done just over a week ago. You can go on Instagram, there you have it. You can go onto the site. You can see some of these amazing films from Black, queer creatives, from the Indigenous creative. That's one that you have right up now. So it's starting to roll out slowly, but obviously compliant with COVID-19 health and safety. You're also going to be able to see in-person summer and fall programming.
All right. Ashley McKenzie-Barnes, thank you so much for joining us early this morning.